Today, on Be Something Wonderful, what Neville Goddard didn't say. Quantum revision revisited. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators and members, welcome back. Massive video today. You might say they of quantum proportions. And really what I want to talk about today is I released a video yesterday based on a client session that I had about letting go or releasing the subconscious past, right? The subconscious thoughts, the subconscious past. And I think one of you commented that you're new to the channel and said, and there's this teacher, Neville Goddard, that talks about revision. You went on to talk about that. Now, and it is true, revision is powerful. And of course, because you're new to the channel, I want to point you towards the almost now 900 videos on the channel, between both channels, between the membership channel and the public channel, and dozens of them unpack the teachings of Neville Goddard, and probably dozens of them unpack revision. So the revision really wasn't what that session was about yesterday. And so although you're right, revision's powerful, I even want to kind of unpack revision for you a little bit, because I think you and others still sort of have a view of revision in one way, and I want to really open your eyes to what Neville Goddard didn't say about revision. So today we're going to talk about that today and more. Revision of past events and conditions is not merely a change in attitude by reimagining those conditions and events as how you would like them to be. So it's not merely looking at the past differently. When you revise a letter or revise an email or revise a past event in your life, and you create it differently. It's not just about thinking about it differently, seeing it differently, so you feel about it differently in the present and then create your desired future. Not at all. It's more than that. So more than this, more than merely a change in attitude by reimagining those conditions, events as how you would like them to be, but rather you're changing the past. You are changing the past. You're not changing that past event. That past event continues on that timeline. You can't change any specific script. What you're doing is changing your past. You're moving to a timeline that has that now reimagined event. It's bigger than what you think. It's quantum revision. It's bigger than even what this new client, this new subscriber was talking about yesterday. That's probably not familiar with the content on the channel. It's much bigger than that, right? You're changing the past. How is that? By quantum leaping to the alternative reality, the lifeline or film roll, where your past is the revised past. You're imagining it differently. You're quantum leaping. The script, remember, is written. Creation's finished. You can't change that. You can't change that. You can't change that event or that lifeline, that script. That event continues on that lifeline or that alternative reality. What you do by imagining it, by revising it, by rewriting it, by seeing it and feeling about it differently, by creating a new event, you are moving to a new timeline that has now a different past, that creates a different present and creates a different future. That's what we're talking about. So you do it by choosing a new reality. How do you do that? By revising that past event or imagining your desired future. Either way is going to get you there, right? So let's hit this a little bit more. Creation, scripts, parallel realities, film rolls, they all exist in the Eternity Archive. You might even want to call it the film roll archive, right? Where each event in your life, each condition, event, exist in a form of a frame or frozen slide, right? And then they're on a specific lifeline or film roll, right? Or the script, and each film roll has its own script that plays out, and they're infinite in number. Imagine, as I've talked about many times, if you could look from above, if you could have that broader perspective, you would see infinite amount of frames and events, right? All sort of arranged or assembled on specific lifelines or timelines or realities. Right? And each of these timelines has its own script. You can't change the script. You can't change the past frames on this lifeline. What you can do is revise, reimagine that past event as you would like it to be. And that moves you to a new lifeline, a new parallel reality, a new film roll that has a new script, that now has a new past, has your revised past. Do you see how big this is? Right? Think about it this. It's sort of like you can't change. Once a film is shot, a film is shot. You can't change the frames in the film. It's shot. Think of it that way. What you can do is revise that frame, which moves you to a new film roll. That's what we're talking about. A whole new film roll. You're creating a whole new film roll or reality, alternative reality, by revising that frame, that event. That's big, right? All possible frames or events, infinite in number, exist in potential in the infinity film roll archive. All of them. These events, these frames, are assembled in film rolls or scripts or parallel realities, lifelines, infinite in number, that are unique and cannot be changed. Cannot change any one script. That's why A Course in Miracles says the script is written. That's why Neville Goddard and other spiritual greats say creation is finished. What does that mean? Yes, creation's finished, but it's also infinity, so it's expanding at the same time. But if you froze infinity at any one moment in time, all possibilities would exist, right? But as you unfreeze it and as you change your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, as you revise events, as you think about things differently, as you assume things differently, as you change within, you create new realities, right? But they're all finished. They're all done. They're already there in potential. That's big, right? Each film roll, each script, each alternative parallel reality lifeline has its own fate, so to speak. That's why when some people say, well, the fate's, maybe the script's written, that means the fate, that's really the meaning of fate, right? That on this lifeline, that is the fate. That future, that's going to play out like it's going to play out. You can't change it. But it doesn't mean your fate or your destiny's fixed. You can imagine what you want. You can change your inner state. You can revise a past event and then move to a new film roll that has a new fate. Right? Each film roll has its own fate, has its own destiny. That's what that means, right? That's so big. So free will, and then this really gets into the question that always comes up, the question of free will. Free will is only freedom of choice. What does Neville mean? It means imagining your desired future and or your ideal past, revising it. You have that choice, but you don't have the free will to change that script, that lifeline. What you do is you have the free will to choose, to imagine again, revise again, and move to a lifeline that has your desired reality, that leads to the path of least resistance, to the bridge of incidence, to everything you desire. That's big, right? The truth is, your experiences throughout your life are determined by your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious. Neville Goddard, again, pointing to free will, the idea that you have freedom of choice. But everything you do, everything you decide, you're going to be moved by your assumptions. Those invisible assumptions, whether they're conscious or unconscious. You're going to be moved by what you're thinking, feeling, and believing. You're going to be moved by that subconscious past, right? Unless you decide again. Unless you choose again, unless you let it go and reimagine it, revise it. That's powerful. When you change or choose new assumptions by imagining your desired future and reimagining, in other words, revising your past, you are moved to a new film roll or script, an alternative reality or lifeline that fulfills itself. Wow. Do you see it? It fulfills itself. When you revise it, when you imagine again, when you have new assumptions, you're moved to a new film roll or script, an alternative reality that fulfills itself, fulfills it according to your assumptions, your beliefs, your vision. That's big today. So whether you are revising your past by reimagining it, how you would like to have it to be, or simply changing your attitude to the past event, Either way, because sometimes we think revision is just about changing our attitude about the past, not changing that past event, but just revising it so we feel better about it. In either case, you're changing the past. How? Why? Because when you change the way you feel about something, or the way you see something in the past, you change your state of being in the present, which moves you to a new reality, a new lifeline that now has a new past. It might still be based on similar events that you thought that you imagined before, but you feel differently about them, so that changed everything. That changed the past, that changed the present, and changed the future. Do you see it? Either you can make it a mere attitude, or you can reimagine the entire event. Either way, you're moving to a new reality. You're changing your life in the all-time. Remember, there's only now. So that's why, and remember, what are memories? They're just images. They're they're imaginal acts of something that you imagine happened in the past. But it's all happening right now. So just like a future imaginal act where you're imagining an image, that's what you're doing when you're remembering a past. You're imagining it. It's a memory. A memory is an image. And you're recreating everything in the now moment. That's really what I was getting at with my client yesterday. So I know sometimes, guys, you watch the videos and it's a 20-minute video and I talk about a client, quote, problem or issue, and I know you want to contribute, but remember, you're only seeing a snippet of it, right, of what I've actually talked about or what actually went on. And the whole idea of the video is to hit a specific topic. And that's what we were talking about yesterday. Today, though, it's revision, right? So it's changing in an all time, and it's moving you to a new film role, a lifeline, an alternative reality, or a script that reflects your new assumptions and state of being, right? The old script and film role fades into virtual background, right? It's still there. Remember, all realities exist as potential. So just imagine that it was something that looked solid. It starts fading into a virtual reality now, right? As you light up and occupy your new lifeline, that becomes your new reality. That coalesces. Do you see what's going on here? That's big. So you're not merely changing, hear this, the way you see or perceive the past through revision, though that does change your present and imagined future, as Neville in the light that Neville taught revision. It certainly does when you are changing the way you see things or perceive things, when you revise it, when you rewrite it, it does change your present and imagined future. But you're changing all of it. You're changing your past, you're changing your present, you're changing your future. How you're moving to an entirely new film role or lifeline or alternative reality. Wow. The past and future, linear time, are being created right now through your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and assumptions, focus, and attention. All of it. All of that. Thoughts, feelings, beliefs, assumptions, focus, attention. Creation's finished, and eternity and infinity is expanding at the same time. It's finished, but it's expanding. It's infinity. It can be no other way. Infinity has to be finished and expanding at the same time. That's big. So, yes, as Neville said, when you revise the past, it changes your present and creates your desired future. Yes, yes, yes. But what Neville didn't say is that revision changes everything in all time, past, present, and future, and moves you to an entirely new lifeline, film role, alternative reality. In my Father's house are many mansions. If that were not so, I wouldn't tell you that. Because what Jesus was saying, right? Neville points to that from Scripture. That's what we're talking about. That's what Jesus was talking about, right? The script is written. So it's not about trying to change a fixed, frozen, linear past. Hear this. And I think that's what the new client who wasn't familiar with our content was trying to point to. But it's about thinking differently about that. But it's more than that. So it's not about trying to change a fixed, frozen, linear past. It's about choosing a new alternative one. That past, that script is written. It's there, right? Those scripts, all those events. Remember, all those events are happening right now. We use past, present, and future as an idea that you're comfortable with, but there's only now. But on each script, there's a 3D package, right? Call it the 3D package that you buy into when you move to a new alternative reality or film roll or script. And this 3D package has an apparent past, an apparent present, and an apparent future. But we all know that it's happening right now, right? So you're choosing a new one. It's not fixed, frozen, linear past. It's choosing a new one. See this, guys? So here we have right? The one idea revision is when you revise the past. Here's the past. Look at that as maybe your unwanted past. Unwanted events to how you would like them to be. It changes your attitude or state of being and how you remember the past and the present, right? That if you can change the way you see this, then this changes and then you move to your desired future. But this inner shift then changes your present state in line with your future wish fulfilled, right? It changes your inner state and your wish fulfilled. But it's bigger than that. You move to a new script, a new lifeline, a new alternative reality. You move here, not with that old past, but with a new past and a new present and a new future. Yeah, it's big. I told you it was going to be big today. And yes, to my subscribers, I talked about this in a few videos, but never like we're talking about it today. It's always different at the same time, right? Quantum revision, what Neville didn't say, right? You have lifeline A. Let's look at this. This is lifeline or script A. You have your undesired, quote, past. You have your current reality, your future frame. That's what you see right now, the blue. Then you have your desired future or your undesired future. It all depends what you're doing here, right? What you're imagining and what you're imagining and what you're revising here. If you just say, well, I'm stuck with that undesired past, I'm stuck with the present circumstances, then you move to an undesired future. However, in this current frame, if you imagine the future the way you want it to be, or revise the undesired past the way you would have liked it to be, then you move to a lifeline film roll B, where your desired future wish fulfilled is. You have a new revised past, you're in a new current frame, and you're in a new future. Wow! With lifeline A, the script will play out. And the future will be played out according to that light timeline, period. You can't change that. But in B, you create an entirely new alternative lifeline by revising the past. While you're here, you move here, right? By revising it. Otherwise, you stay on a similar lifeline or script like A, unfavorable, moving you to that unfavorable future, right? This is so big. Do you see this, guys? So, and then the last point I really want to make is that although I use this idea of parallel realities, alternative realities, stacked one near the other, it actually isn't like that. Everything's happening here and now within you. So as opposed to going from the past to the present, the future in sort of a linear movement like a river, it's all like a lake. It's all happening right now. All these realities are coming out of you right now, right? And so infinity is never complete. There's no space, there's no time, there's just here and now, right? Creation is finished in any one moment, but always expanding. And you are a reality generator. In every moment, you're creating waves of past, present, and future events, past, present, and future, past, present, and future events based on your state of being, right? You are a reality generator. So yes, all creation's finished. All scripts are written, but they're also being created at the same time in that moment, and you're doing that now, right? This is really what we mean by what Neville Goddard didn't say. This is quantum revision revisited. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, or thank you for subscribing, is what I should say. Thank you for joining the membership channel or considering joining it. Thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for the love and support that you're showing me every day. I'm overwhelmed with it, and I love you guys. Don't forget you can visit our Facebook page at Be Something Wonderful. We also have a group where you can share insight and guidance with others called the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. You can find us there at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen. You can really find us anywhere at Be Something Wonderful or at Tom Karen. We're everywhere. Or just visit our website anytime at tomkaren.com or besomethingwonderful.com. Guys, lots coming up this month. We're going to be in Boston, I think in about a week or a week and a half. And then later, over the holidays, we're going to still be doing videos. We're going to still be doing them, but we're going to be doing them from Greece. So we'll see you there. And so it's important. So we're going to have a lot of know thyself type videos coming up, guys. So don't forget, visit our website anytime at tomkaren.com or besomethingwonderful.com. With great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, creators, until next time, we'll see you soon.